Welcome back, agents, to another episode of Prime Tips. Hey, today we're going to be talking about IITC and the stock drawing tools, which I didn't use much. But before I get too far along, I want to do a special hi to all those agents out in Seattle. I was just amazed when I started looking at my stats, and most of the people in the United States that listen to me are from Seattle. So I guess you got to be 500 miles from home to be an expert. So hi again to Seattle. Hi to all the agents all over. And today we're talking about the drawing tools, and they're probably something I would use more for planning and checking if things can be done. And like I said, I didn't use them much, but I thought I'd sit down and play with them, and I found a couple of good uses for them. And we're going to look at those, and I'm sure there's others that other people use that I don't know about, but hey, we got to start somewhere. So the basic tools, and again, this is a plugin for IITC, so you do have to be running IITC. I'm using it on a desktop, and I do have the drawing tools in. So you have 6 basic tools that show up, the drawing tools, and then you have the editing tools. So the drawing tools, the basic one is you have a draw line, which pretty much explains itself. Draw a polygon, so you can make different shapes. You could probably draw in fields with this. It's not exact. It's much easier to use auto draw and actually connect to the portals that you want, but we'll look at polygons. You could use it for other things. Draw a circle, which I thought was pretty useless until I noticed that it's showing me distances. So we'll look at how drawing a circle can probably help you out a lot whenever you're planning. Place a marker, put a spot on the map so you can come back to it later. And then the editing tool, so to say, you have edit layers. So if you have something that is drawn on the map and you want to make a change to it, maybe extend a line or make a circle bigger, that'll allow you to do it. And delete layers. So you can take off the last few things you put on or just clear the map completely. So we're going to look at the map, and you'll notice that on the left-hand side, I've got some stats. Again, since I'm using this as a planning tool, I need to know what I'm planning for. So in this particular case, I'm looking for what are things that a single agent above level 8 could possibly do by way of fielding and links. So with just the standard, at level 8 and up, agent can make a level 5 portal. So 5.62 that level 8 agent can make, so they get out to about 160 kilometers. Again, you would have to figure out where your distances are. There's some calculation programs and places you can find that. We'll probably look at one of those in the next episode or two to give you a lot of information. But this is what I'm going with. And then also mods. So you know that if you're throwing links, making fields, mods can really change the distances at which you can operate. So a rare link amp can get that out to 320 kilometers. A pair of them gets out to 400 kilometers. SoftBank Ultra Links or S-Bowls, those go a long way. So throw one, you can get out to 800. 2 of them, you can get out to 1,000 kilometers. Mix it with a rare link amp, 880 kilometers. And again, I'm only looking at 2 mods because, again, I'm thinking about one agent. And I put the stuff in there for very rare link amps, which are very rare. I don't think you're going to use them much, but that's there. So let's go to the map and look at it a little bit. And I've put a couple of bookmarks in. So here's a bookmark down in a little town called Iuka. And let's say that I'm thinking of doing some fielding out of Effingham and that there's a link that's already in there. Now, I've turned all the links off. I went into layers and I turned off the links in the field. So there's just a bunch of links that are there right now. And that would be real confusing. So I just turned the links off so we'll have an idea. But you'll see that I have cross links on, so you'll see what's going on. So let's say I'm wanting to know what I could do out of Effingham if there's that existing link. That's probably a good thing for draw the line or a polyline. And you notice that I can finish, delete the last, or I can cancel. So I can come down and I can click on that and I can pull it and I get the dotted line and I can go wherever I want. The nice thing is you'll notice that it gives me a distance. So it's right at 100 kilometers if I'm throwing from Iuka to Mattoon in this case. And I'm going to click, and it draws that line in, and then it would let me pull another line. So I can just keep putting lines in and in and in and all over the place. If I want to close it off, this is kind of confusing, I click on the last one. So click on that last box, bink, and there it is. Now it turned into a dotted line because it's a crosslink, but I have that line in, and now I can go in and zoom in on the map and look and say, okay, if I'm throwing east out of Effingham, which would be to my right, pretty much the whole city of Effingham is available. But these portals over here that are around the interstate, those are going to be over that line, so I can't really plan to throw anything from there. So that's one of the uses of the line. You can also move that line. Of course, you can throw more than one line. So let's say that I'm thinking, well, what if my line goes all the way up to a portal I'm thinking of in Tuscola? Well, again, I can zoom in and get where I want to be. And this is a tool I hadn't really used, the Edit Layer tool. So if I'm going to edit layers, when I click on it, now I get my little square back. And I can grab that square and say, nope, I would like to go all the way up here with this line. And so I will click that line there, and I'll have to save that change. So now that line is in. And notice that that line now is not dotted, so it is not a cross link. And when I go back into Effingham, I can see that, yep, now I can throw off of those portals that are up here by that interstate that I couldn't throw before. So it's just a tool that you're looking at different things that you can do. Now, if I didn't want that line on my map anymore, I can take it off a couple of different ways. The little trash can here, the delete layers, I can click on the individual item that I want to remove. So if I got 4 or 5 lines, I can take those out. I can just clear them all. So clear them all, they're gone. So that's that tool. The Polygon tool, again, not a tool that I would use a whole lot, but it does kind of like the line, but it hangs on. So I can start here, I'll go over, and when I put in the second one, it's going to close that up. So it kind of gives me an idea of that's where that would be. And if I click on the last one, it finishes it. So I can use that to get an idea of where my possible fields might be. And again, if I need to change it a little bit, I can go into Edit Layers. I can grab one of these and say, no, let's put this way over here in Pana. And then save it. And so I redraw that field. So that's nice that you can reshape those fields, relook where they're at, and look at, in this case, we got cross links or where do I have to go. The one thing you don't really have is a good idea of distances. You notice that as I draw, I don't have a distance. So it's good for an idea, but not a really good idea if I'm having to live to distances for throwing and things like that. Let's go back into this, and let's say we just want to get rid of that particular one. You can get rid of just one item, or let's just clear the board. Let's skip down to marker real quick. So if I know that I'm going to be going here in Neoga, and I'm going to be going in Shumway, and the big town of Laclede, and when I cancel, those are on the map. And then as I pull out, way out, you can see, I still can see where those are at. So if you're doing, operations that deal with multi-states, things like that, that might be handy. I find the bookmark is handier. And the other issue you run into is if you clear all, it takes those out. So that's the marker. The one I found that was really more useful than I thought is the circle. So let's say that I'm going to use the circle, and before I get too far, let's look at a what if. So let's say that I'm down here in Iuka, and I'm wondering if I build that portal, can I make the throw all the way to Tuscola, a single agent? Or what do I need to make that throw? Or if I'm going to go all the way over here to Glendale Fish and Wildlife. So I'm going to zoom in so I can get it kind of exact. Again, you don't have to be real exact, but I want to be exact. And I start by clicking and I hold, and then I open up. And I can use the mouse wheel. And you notice that now I have a radius. So I know how far it has to be. So if I look and I come out to Tuscola, it's 138. If I come out to Glendale, it's 149. So I know that my range is about 160. So there's about 160. So now I've got a nice circle on the map, knowing that, hey, I could throw that far and not have to put anything in by way of link amps and things like that. But what if my plans are bigger? Okay. One of the other things that you can do is you can go into Draw Tools and you can change the color. So let's go with a nice deeper blue this time. And my plans are bigger. Let's say that I want to throw all the way up to a lighthouse in northern Michigan. Big plans. And maybe I've got another, maybe I want to be down around Memphis or something. So again, in Iuka, what is the distance there? Again, I can pull a line, but it might be good to know where else can I go. So I'm going to pull another circle. So I click, and I pull that circle, and you'll see that now my radius is 630 or so. So I'll leave that circle in there, 630 kilometers. So if I'm throwing from Iuka and trying to get up there, I got to get 630. So each one of those portals that I throw from, I'm going to have to probably put a SoftBank Ultralink on it. At least one. I can't do it with two rare link amps. That's only 400 kilometers. So again, a good idea for planning. Let's say that, okay, I got enough that I can throw two rare link amps on each portal that I'm using. What can I reach? Again, I could use the line to do that, but it might be easier just use a circle. So I'm looking at about 400 kilometers. I could draw the circle again, and I pull it out to 400 kilometers. Yeah, get it right there. So, yeah, I could hit Chicago with two rare link amps on a level 5 portal that's sitting down that far. So a real handy tool to look at, what can I hit? What can't I hit? Now, the edit tool, the edit layers, you notice that I have a handle and I can resize that circle, but I don't know how big that circle is. So I can cancel it. But I mean, I could resize the circle. I think I can also move that circle. So if I grab it, I don't know if I can move it. I don't think I can move it. No, I can't move it. But I can resize it so I can look at different things. But again, I don't think that's real handy because you don't have the distance that is there. So just some of the things that you can do with the draw tools, get a bullseye on where you have it. Again, another thing that I might mention that with IITC anyway, if you have a portal that is a portal that is lit up at a certain level. So let's say this one that we've been talking about, the Halfway Tavern. When I get that portal up on IITC, it would show me a very circle, a red circle, which I don't think it's going to do it. I need to probably restart IITC. But it would show you a red circle saying, hey, here's how far this particular one will throw. But again, it has to be a portal that's already thrown before you can see that circle. So for planning, probably these tools are not that bad. And you can export these drawings out so that you could do things like this on your desktop and then put it out on your phone. You can look at it, but again, if you're planning, most of the time I think you're going to be planning on a desktop computer. So that's the drawing tools. Again, I hope that I get to see you out in the field sometime soon. And with a virtual First Saturday coming up, hey, get out there virtually and participate in a virtual First Saturday. Hope I see you in the field soon, and I'm able to talk. Bye, agents.